Namaskar, I'm Ashok. Well, and I'm delighted to be welcoming someone uh, who is going to engage in that conversation, which is going to lead to some profound ideas, and it could be a transformational conversation if you get into the rhythm of the expression by CEO of an important company, that is Nagendra Rao ji. Nagendra ji, welcome. Swagat hai aapka.
Thank, thank you so much, Ashok ji. Namaskar.
So we are actually considering to learn from you about science, about soul, and about success. And what I will briefly tell our viewers about you is you have had a very successful career in terms of serving on important position at various companies, not getting into the details, and then coming to your establishing your own company, which is NC Core. Now, of course, it is in the field of IT, and there are multiple services that you are offering, and it is uh, it is commendable that we Indian Americans come to America. We have a vision, we implement a vision, and there are many, yet there are not many. So the transition which made you think is required, because I'm sure you were leading a comfortable life while you were working for another company also. So talk to me about the um, this particular space. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, Ashok ji, first for having me with you, and it's a pleasure. And what I feel is when I see the caption which is going, the soul, science, and success, right? It's all get together in terms of when we think from the soul perspective, and then we trying to be, when you use soul is something here, and then science is something here, and then when you combine these two things together, and you will become successful in any area of the life. So everybody is leading their own life. I was serving big enterprises as well as small organization in the past when I started my career. And but no matter what, where I was doing everything with the sense of ownership what I was assigned to. That sense of ownership took me to the different level, and I was able to stand out in each and every organization wherever I was working, adding value, not just for that particular assignment, also showing the potential of doing something and leading from the front, serving the entire team and project. That makes a lot of difference to any individual. And
So, yeah, sorry to interrupt. I know there is much more that you are going to share, but I think it'll help us to decode the meaning of working with the point of view of ownership. What do you mean by that?
ownership, okay, so let's say example, if we take a simple analogy of cooking something, okay, and then we cook, let's say example, every day the same recipe, and then sometime it turns out good, sometime it doesn't turn out good, because of the ingredient, sometime because of the process what you have followed, or sometime you rushed for it, right? So having said that, when we have the sense of ownership and we wanted to deliver it nicely and the way it is supposed to be, it comes from your heart. The time what you should be giving to that particular recipe has to be there. The intention from the motive from your mind and brain has to be come together. That sense of ownership comes when you feel yourself so responsible. Okay, once this is done, how this is going to be impactful to others, that ownership, if we take and we carry with us during this entire process, the results will be definitely what you are looking for, or which is going to be impactful for others in a positive sense.
Yeah. So, like we grab, there are two hands that are coming together. Same way when you're working for any organization, most of the time people look at it as give and take on some level. When I say on some level, there are actually multiple levels. How are you rewarded? What is the kind of environment that you have? How is the relationship in terms of expectations from you, and delegation of authority, etc. There are a number of issues which you would know more than me. But my question is, were you ever looking at this question, which is very frequently used in India as well as here? What is there in it for me? So,
Sure.
talk to me, because that shifts uh, the space of ownership to something else. If you own that,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So I have learned, and I will, tell you some of these examples from my lifetime experiences. What is in it for me? But what is in it you? First, we need to know that. What is your intention? Because that topic, what we have, soul, science, and success, right? That what is in it for me has to be defined and identified by your own soul first. Why you want to do this? Before asking this question to others, let's ask this question to ourselves, and let's tell them upfront, okay, I want to take this responsibility, I want to do this job because I love this, or I have a passion, I want to give back to my community, or I want to add some value addition to this profession. Of course, money and the salary and the compensations and the benefits are the outcomes or the byproduct of all what you do in your life. So that is where a soul is getting connected with this materialistic world in terms of science or math or calculation, what you make for your livelihood or for your living. When you are talking to someone, getting some assignments, and then you ask, okay, what is in it for me? Let's say, example, when you're serving to a non-profit organization as a volunteer, you might be thinking differently because you already know you are doing some charity. You are not expecting anything coming out from you, but you are expecting one thing. As a human being, you are so selfish, and anybody is so selfish in that you need a self respect, and that self respect is going to satisfy your own soul. That is in it for you. For that, if somebody says, I do not have anything taking out from what I do, they are probably, they don't know, or they are telling lie, because there is in it something for them to satisfy their own soul. That is in it for them.
Okay, so now, let us learn about the call of the soul. Would give different messages to different individuals based on their specific nature, etc. But uh, let us look at, even if there is mismatch, then also if you work with resonance from your soul, then you derive a sense of satisfaction or joy more than what you would if it is just a mechanical kind of performance that you are offering. Am I right?
Absolutely, it defines, and it's a perspective what we know about it. Sometimes what is happening is we don't know the thing what we don't know. It's unknown. Something, sometime what happens is, okay, we know, okay, this is going to be like this, and I know the how it is going to impact me or some other person in the community. That is where you are going to relate to that. Sometimes we are not able to relate. In that sense, we have to work with our mentors. So mentors are very, very important in your life, so that you can be successful and you understand the perspective, because perspective also comes or always comes from the experiences which you do not have. You are getting into new thing, and then you need someone who already had the experience or having a subject matter expertise with that. So that relationship, that perspective, if you don't have, knowledge is different, perspective is different. Knowledge you can gain by reading books and doing Google and all, but getting the perspective, you can only have it once you are into it, or you have experienced it in the past, or someone who he did it and then he's telling you the right thing in front of you.
Yeah. Okay, now let's look at success. The way it is defined also varies from people to people based on their understanding. Some people consider as money made is directly proportional to success. Some people see how many people are appreciating what you did, whichever be the field that you are in. there could be multiple ways. What is your take on defining success?
So there are many ways, and people find different ways to satisfy themselves and put the definition from their own experiences. Success is sometime, finishing the race, that touch line, finish line. Sometimes people say, okay, this is not the marathon, or this is a sprint. You have multiple success milestones in your life, as you know, when you are at the age of 20, 30, 25, whatever, right, in your career, where you are like simply a employee, then manager and general manager and president and vice president, and then retire and all those kind of stuff. Same thing in our life happens in that way. Success, in my opinion or in my experience, it's a journey, because you cannot say, okay, today I'm successful, I'm done with it, and tomorrow I'm not going to do anything. There are, this is a kind of a myth for us. There is a mirage, you can see, you can see in the desert when you go there. Okay, there is a water, and then you go there, and again you go further, and then you will see more, you know so that's how it is. And our success measurement criteria, you can say, in a very human sense, how many smiles we can bring on some people on their faces. That should be our success criteria as a human being. Of course, when it comes to run the organization, whether it's a profit or non-profit, then you have to look for your balance sheets and all those different things. That is one way of seeing things. But ultimately, what impact you are making to others and making a difference and adding value to the next generation, that is going to be measured not just by you, by so many upcoming generations as well.
Hmm. So I'll come back to your organization, but I also want to bring to the attention of our viewers that you were interviewed for a book which is called Win Business with Relationships, uh, Communication Strategies Inspired by Entrepreneurs and Taoism. What was that book all about? And when you saw the book, I believe there were others also who were interviewed. So anything that you felt was unique in your expression while you related to her author?
Sure, sure. So um, this book was written and authored by Dr. Megao. She is a professor in Kennesaw State University here in Atlanta, and she interviewed 20 different people from different industry domain, from the entrepreneurship, leadership, and their subject matter expertise perspective. And there were a lot of brand name, including AT&T, Coca-Cola, Delta, Berkshire Hathaway, and all.
Mhm.
And fortunately, I was part of that 20 people list. And so what I learned, and that is itself mentioned in that book, is that how entrepreneurs can make their own organization so successful while keeping up well with their communication skills and strategies. And it's a combination of science, arts, commerce, and mathematics. So all together. And when I say that, also it comes from your soul, how you think about others. And first of all, knowing yourself is so important. Whether you are what you are perceived by others, it's correct, right, wrong, or in different ways. So that was a good learning for me, even to read this book and understand the different aspect of it from different industries, because every individual and demographics, if you see that, people coming from all over the world, from different countries, different geographies, different demography, and different work culture too. So in that book, I was featured, and she interviewed me for more than hour and more than an hour. And it was not like she had given me some script or some questions. It was rapid fire, continuously 64 minutes 45 seconds, something that. And then she did that with 20 different people and then compiled it and then also added a philosophy of Taoism that is from China's background.
Okay,
So
what is that? How it
that
relates to
Taoism, yeah. So Taoism, talks about the communication happening, uh, within this universe and the nature. And there are a lot of analogies between how it has been communicated within the nature, from tree to animals to plants to human beings, all those different things. It's a very interesting topic to read about it. And then she was able to connect or relate that philosophy to our communication strategy in current world, and how what we are doing in different areas like IT or manufacturing or retail or media entertainment and all that kind of industry. So quite interesting book. It's available on Amazon as well as in Barnes and Nobles and all those different bookstores. um, and I was fortunate enough to be part of it.
Well,
And
we are happy. We are happy to learn that you were a part of it. And also, when you look at it as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, with the prism of Indian philosophy or what you learn from Bhagavad Gita, was there any major key difference between the way the approach from Taoism comes to entrepreneurship and
I Bhagavad Gita teaches us the how to live our life in real world. Everybody's life is different. Answer to your question, comparing Taoism with Gita, maybe I am little uh, I would say ineligible to do that, because it's a very big question, loaded question for us. Uh, the relativeness, what I can see is, end of the day, if you have two three things in your head, in your brain, in your heart, that's something like honesty, trustworthiness, and the respect which we should give to each other. And if you find it in that book, I spoke about respect, and there were other leaders also, they spoke about respect without knowing me, and I did not know them. So they talked about that respect word. The respect is the key for anything and everything in your communication. The way you are going to communicate uh, with your wife, with your son, with your teacher, with your colleague, with your employer. If you do not have that level of respect, you won't be able to communicate well. There will be always confusions or some wrong assumptions, as well as some wrong interpretations as well. So that is all about communication in that book, with respect to respect.
beautiful? So now let's move towards that important decision which you took, and probably it was the fire to do more and to offer more to the world that AANSEACORE came into being. Talk to me about the difference in serving uh, in any important position, but in another company and starting your own.
Sure. I read one book which was written by Swami Vivekanand in the past, and the message of that book was, the world is so unique. Only thing is the degree is different. I was playing a very senior role in my previous organization, where I was, an employee and serving them for a decade. It's not like overnight, one day it happened like, okay, now I have to be CEO of a company, or I want to start my own. As I said, the ownership which I was taking from last one decade to that company, to those different projects and initiatives, the autonomy which we had was little low. When time came with my experiences and that kind of maturity, my degree of that confidence, as well as the degree of the success definition, the degree of self realization, the degree of giving back, the degree of ownership overall has increased. And then I made the switch. Sometimes it comes with some situation, personal situation. So many people wants to do that, but it takes a lot of consistency. It requires a lot of patience. It required a lot of patience and hard work, of course. And the most important thing, which is whom you are working with, whom you are, the surroundings. If you are surrounded by positive people, your well wishers, you know how they think, you are very transparent and honest with them, you can make that switch. So bringing ourselves from that mindset to this mindset, it's not an overnight thing. You already have it there, but the maturity was little low, and the degree of ownership or sense of ownership was on the lower side. Once it get increased, you will become a true entrepreneur, and then you can make that switch. That's how I did it. Maybe there other entrepreneurs will have different stories to it, but that is how I became an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So leadership, communication, these words are very, very important in the orbit of any organization. And what do you consider as the mantra for having effective communication, so that your team is continuously inspired to do their best?
Absolutely. Just addition to what you just said, there are two things which I also tell my team members here, and it has to be like that: efficiency and effectiveness. Those two things has to come together. That efficiency and effectiveness brings the efficacy in your communication, in your business, wherever, whatever you are doing. If we bring that efficacy and having a open work culture and the open communication, no hidden agendas, you are so approachable for them in sense for your team, and team is so approachable for you. Anytime you can talk to them, having a very honest conversation on any topic, that brings a lot of values and ease to work with the team. When somebody is not comfortable within themselves, how they are going to serve their clients and other people. That's how what I learned. So I'm very religiously we follow that in terms of bringing our heart and brain working together. It's not like, okay, always you think from the brain, and you're hurting your heart every day, and by doing that you are also hurting others heart, the others emotions. um, Commercial aspects and emotions, they usually don't go well together, but we need to understand how to balance this out. That is also I learned from Swami Vivekanand, in terms of, as well as from Bhagavad Gita, in terms of how to balance things. Because as a human being, you have to do so many different things which might be any point of time contradictory, but you have to balance this out and act very wisely. Knowledge, thoughtfulness, and then wisdom. So uh, that journey from knowledge, thoughtfulness, and then wisdom has to be there. Otherwise, you might end up in taking so many wrong decisions, which even you have a knowledge, you are not able to practice it.
Yeah. So Nagendra, I want to thank you for joining me for this conversation, which looks was very brief, but I want to leave by requesting you to share any highlight in your journey towards, if I say, success to success, whether it was in your previous companies or this Ancore which you have founded. Uh, any moment or instance which filled you with some additional satisfaction?
Uh, the relationship word which you see in that book, right? That is the fruit you will see, maybe not instantly, but the relationship what you carry throughout your life with so many different people, with so many clients, or stakeholders or your friends, family is important, and which I realized even I don't work for those companies now, but I have a very honest, genuine relationship with them where on a single phone, I was or I am able to talk to them and they are able to talk to me. We should not burn the bridges. It's written in Gita as well. We are not taking anything with us. So be respectful to what you do and how others sees you, and it should not be disrespect to any person in the world. So if you follow or if you are able to follow that, I think you are successful. That's how I see, because end of the day, as I said, relationships matters, and the true relationships where you can see people when you meet them, greet them, they are happy and having a smiling face in front of you.
So if you are happy and you know it, clap your hands. So I'm going to clap for Nagendra ji, and I also recollect a song. एक दिन मिट जाएगा माटी के मोल और जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे बोल. So be kind to people is the key message that comes to us again and again from many successful people, and I believe Nagendra ji, while underlining the importance of relationship. Also indirectly tells us that artificial intelligence is okay, but the original intelligence is more important. So, thank you very much, Nagendraji. We'll have
Thank you so much.
more sessions with you down the line. But Nagendra Roy ji, CEO and C-Core, we talked about soul, science, and success. Hope you enjoyed it.